What's up, Facebook and people around the world, or YouTube, or wherever this will be seen. This week I decided we had a bunch of trees that were trimmed in the red pines that are here. There's a bunch of these red pines that are that you often see planted in rows. Back in the 50s, the state of Michigan spent a lot of, actually I think it was federal dollars that went into it, but each state spent a lot of money on their state parks and national parks, and they put a lot of people to work across the whole country. But in Michigan, they did it a lot of forestry starting, and they went through and they planted just rows and rows and rows for miles and miles of different types of pines, especially red pines. And then we have some Norway spruce in here. And a few years ago, they were trimmed out, so every other row was cut, and they left a lot of basically just brush, tree branches, and things like that laying around on the ground. And it's been decomposing, just kind of laying here for 4 or 5 years, all over the place. If you are a subscriber to my channel and you remember the Friday Night Freeze video that I did, which was back in February of 2011, I actually built a structure which would have been right over there, amongst a bunch of the pine trees that were in rows. And I actually slept out here in the middle of February in single-digit temperatures. That was back when I had Muffin, and now I have this guy. Muffin and this guy both showed up, black lab mixes with pointy ears, in the same barn, 15 years apart, strangely enough. Only 2 dogs I've ever had just show up, and they both look exactly the same. Anyways, so I've been out here in the same area that I slept out here 15 years ago, building a place for deer to sleep in the form of really just a giant pile of sticks, neatly organized in a certain fashion. And the objective being to just create a windbreak and a little bit of overhanging shelter overhead, so that eventually, once it's all done, there will be maybe a few more pine branches with some a little bit more coverage on it. But right now, as it is, I think deer would probably just take advantage of it just the way that it is, because it would definitely offer some windbreak and a little bit of shelter overhead. Although a little bit more foliage would be good to just get it really covered in, especially if I can find some pine branches that I can lop off and throw up there. That would give it a lot of thermal value for the deer, and they would just definitely take advantage of just like a manger, or any kind of stable, or any kind of bovine animals, horses and things like that would shelter if it were cold and windy out. So this is just kind of something that I've been doing this week, working on giving the deer a little place to hang out when it's cold this winter. Anyways, yeah, 10-15 years ago, or 2011, when I did my Friday Night Freeze, I was interrupted all night long because there were deer that were trying to sleep in here, and they were like, "Hey, there's a human in here, I can smell you," and they were stomping on their feet, or some of their feet on the ground. And so anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little walk and enjoy the sunset, but hope you're having a nice weekend.